Welcome to Tsuzuki Corporation. My name is Scott Maxwell, and it's my pleasure to introduce the international team. Starting with Stefan in Germany. Stefan, maybe you can let us know why you joined Tsuzuki Corporation, and maybe fill us in on what you've learned since you've joined Tsuzuki Corporation.
Yes, thank you, Scott, for the introduction. And so, how and why I entered Tsuzuki Corporation. So it's a long story. So actually I entered Tsuzuki Corporation almost exactly 19 years ago in May 2002. But I met Mr. Tsuzuki even 4 years earlier when I was a student in Japan. And so we made a field trip to Tsuzuki Corporation's facilities, to the factories, to the head office. And so I got to know Mr. Tsuzuki. And even after the field trip, so we kept in touch, and so we met sometimes. He invited me for lunch or for dinner, and so we really got to know each other, and we talked about many topics. And so it was very, very, very joyful and interesting for me to hear his opinions and different perspectives. And so when I finished my studies in Japan, so I just felt I didn't know anything about the Japanese lumber market. Even I lived there for 3 years, and I just wanted to learn what is actually the lumber business, what is Mapashira, what is Sushikai, what is Genban, and how is the Japanese mentality and philosophy. And so then I took all my courage, and then I called Mr. Tsuzuki. So I told him about my wish to enter his company. And of course I was a little bit worried and anxious or how he will reply, but I was so surprised. I just said, "Oh, Stefan, you want to enter my company? Yeah, no problem. You can come anytime." so I was so surprised. I almost could not reply to him, and just said, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Tsuzuki. Thank you very much. I'm very happy." So I forgot, of course, to talk with Mr. Tsuzuki about salary and vacation and anything, because I was so surprised about his reply. But I did not worry about entering Tsuzuki Corporation. Even I did not know much about Tsuzuki Corporation. So I just felt very comfortable, and I trusted Mr. Tsuzuki so much. I didn't worry at all. And this is also something of our showing of our company philosophy. So trust means a lot to us, to everybody. And so it was a very, very exciting time so far, very good experiences, and so far I never regretted that decision to enter Tsuzuki. I really believe it's a special company, a special philosophy, and it's a long history. And so this mix with a long history and with a young talented staff, always trying to follow the development, and this is really making a very good balance, I think, of our company. So I'm very proud of working for Tsuzuki.
Thank you, Stefan. And let's go to Latvia and introduce Yanis. Yanis, maybe you can tell us how you find new suppliers for Tsuzuki Corporation and what you've found since you've joined the company.
Maybe I would like to say a few words why I did it, because it's quite important for me and maybe for other guys as well, for my colleagues. And most important point was that Tsuzuki Corporation business philosophy is very similar to mine, and very easy for me to accept and understand. And basically, that our moral compass is showing the same direction. So that's what is important for me. And continuing on, I think I might have one of the most interesting jobs in the company, as one of my responsibilities, as you said, is looking for new suppliers, for attracting new businesses in the territories where our company has not been active so far, like in Baltic states and Russia and Ukraine. And I love to traveling, and I love to meeting people, and of course sharing knowledge about the timber. So I'm really happy to doing this task, and I think what is very important for us and our customers in Japan is to find a supplier who is thinking very similar like we do, yeah, and who would also be interested in long-term relationship, because it's also important to understand that our company is not really looking for the spot business or short-term benefits or something like that. Yeah, it's always important for us to involve our energy, involve the knowledge of our team overseas and in Japan, and to build a strong relationship which would last for many years. This is our target, yeah. And of course, that's why this process of finding new customers and becoming a good partners is not very easy and fast. Yeah, it takes 1 or 2 years sometimes to build up the business and to start it. And but there is also special reason for it, because I think the Japanese market is so different from other markets in the world, and that's why also this approach has to be rather special. And if we start and do the right way, the right approach, with the right quality in shipment in time from our suppliers, then there is success for the business in the long term, of course. And yeah, this is how we do. I'm going to sawmills. I'm discussing with the staff there and discussing about the new items and watching the quality, checking the various issues, and basically sharing all the knowledge about these products which probably they have never done before for Japanese market. So I think that's the key, and of course I wouldn't be able to do it without the support from our Japanese colleagues.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Yanis, and let's go to Slovenia and talk to Alan. And Alan, can you introduce yourself and let us know what it is you do for Tsuzuki Corporation in Slovenia?
Thank you, Scott. Basically, I got introduced to Tsuzuki through our mutual partner, and he said you guys would fit together perfectly. So basically, when it finally happened, when the first time I met Mr. Tsuzuki and Stefan, of course we had a busy schedule with 3 days in Slovenia, going to different meetings, getting to know each other, and the last dinner which we had together, which was basically a going away party, Mr. Suzuki finally says, Alan, you're hired. And I was very happy and relieved. So then Mr. Suzuki goes on saying, the first day we arrived, when I immediately saw you, I knew you was Tsuzuki material. And we started laughing again. And I said, thank you for telling me this now, because I was shaking for the last 3 days, So, but seriously speaking, I've been now in Tsuzuki for the last 2 years, and what I find most commending is basically the support you get from your colleagues, co-workers, management, basically from all levels in Tsuzuki Corporation. So this also allows you to develop in directions which you think are best in your own region, and definitely and proud to say, I'm happy to be working in Tsuzuki because of this.
Thank you, Alan, and yeah, that's great. Let's go to our international team anchor in Japan, Madhu. I wonder if you could share a few words about maybe about the philosophy of the Tsuzuki Corporation.
Thank you, Scott. Your question is very simple, but I think to answer your question, it's very difficult for me. Tsuzuki has 150 years, more than 150 years of history, And I joined Tsuzuki, in 2009. It's going to be 11 years. So just 1/15 of time, I've spent in Tsuzuki. So with this short experience, the success of Tsuzuki so far is, because of its consistent, old-fashioned, conservative philosophy. I think the philosophy Tsuzuki has right now may not, compromise with this contemporary world. Maybe it was too old-fashioned. But Tsuzuki has been continuing the same philosophy since then till now, and maybe from now on. So that is why Tsuzuki is so successful and able to expand, develop. When it started at the beginning, now it has changed completely. The company has become so big. We have more than 160 people, and we have every year our sales turnover is going up. Developing many things, so it is advancing. So the reason is that for the philosophy, I guess. The philosophy is very simple. What our president Tsuzuki says, every time: do not cheat, do not lie, be fair. Very simple thing. So to have a business, to make a business, I think, I'm not an economist, I don't have any background on this business management, but I think as a layman, to succeed business, you need a successful customer. To have a successful customer, stabilizing the numbers of the permanent customers, you have to do something different. That is, buy their heart, buy their trust. So how can you buy the heart and trust of the people? It's a faith, it's a fairness, the trust. So it's a simple thing, but doing is very, very difficult in reality. That's why Tsuzuki has been doing such thing. That's why it has been successful, in my thoughts. So, I've been living in Japan for more than 30 years. Actually, I'm not Japanese. I'm from Asian country, Nepal. So I have lots of experience on this Japanese culture. So it wasn't so difficult for me to understand the philosophy, the understanding of the the culture of the Tsuzuki Corporation, because I have been here for a long time. But even though the culture, the philosophy Tsuzuki has is a little bit different than other normal, ordinary business these buddies, these business houses, the trading companies, it's very different. We always trust customer. For us, each and every customer is a customer. Even one customer buys a single piece of lamina is a customer. Even a customer buys hundreds of containers is a customer. We deal in a very similar way, and we don't look for grabbing the huge profit. We always look for the happiness, appreciation, and thankful of the customers. We feel very pleased when the customer says thank you. We don't feel pleasure grabbing the huge profit. So this is the philosophy. It's very old-fashioned. I don't think people will understand and very easily. It takes time. It is very deep-rooted in a traditional philosophy. That's what Tsuzuki has been successful, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, Madhu. I agree with everything you said, actually. My name is Scott Maxwell, as I mentioned earlier, and I joined Tsuzuki Corporation in 2011 after a long career with Canfor. Been in the forest industry all my life. When I was at Canfor, looking after the international customers, I quickly learned that Tsuzuki Corporation was a very special customer, very different than a lot of the other international companies, including Japan. Tsuzuki Corporation has a special culture, as Madhu mentioned earlier, of doing business honestly, fairly, openly, transparently. The corporate culture is really deep-rooted in what I found out later were really traditional Japanese values. So it's a very special company, as I said. The next thing I learned was the company has very strong leadership, not only the family with the Tsuzuki family itself, but also the management team at Tsuzuki Corporation is very strong, and that positions the company very well for the future. Finally, the company, it's a very old company, more than 100 years old. It's very stable financially, positioned very well to survive the tough times in the forest industry, and also to prosper and grow in the good times. So it's been my honor to join Tsuzuki Corporation at this late stage of my career and work with my friends here on the international team. I very much am proud to carry the Tsuzuki card. I learned over the years the company motto was to do business absolutely, exhaustively, soundly, and fair. And I'm not surprised about that motto at all. It just speaks to everything that the previous speakers have mentioned.
Gründlich, aufrichtig und fair. So möchten wir bei Tsuzuki arbeiten.
Mūsu kompānijas moto ir godīgas un taisnīgas attiecības ar mūsu партнерiem. Слоган нашей компании – это честные и справедливые отношения с нашими партнерами.
Наш слоган е наредимо то теmeljito и pošteno за все.
हम ये कहते हैं कि संपूर्ण ग्राहक वर्गों से निष्पक्ष और सम्मान से बिजनेस करने का है.
Our motto is to do business absolutely, exhaustingly, soundly, fair.
I am Tsuzuki.